Whoa. Something's not right here. Hang on a second. I don't know how that happened. Anyway. What's up, everybody? It's me, your boy Okomot, and today we are going to be playing the fantastic 428. Now, yeah, once again, this is going to be like one of those short eps. I think that's pretty much the trajectory of this series. Maybe as we get more into it, I'll probably start to do longer streams of it. But for now, just doing little tiny hour chunks. All right, what is in store for us today? Well, actually, I do know what's in store for us today, but you don't. So, all right. So, that's funny that I have two saves at the same spot. You can now select Achi Endo, one of the other protagonists. Let's follow Achi's story for a little while. Achi Endo called out the door to his father's room. Okay, I'm heading out. Sure. His father sounded unconcerned. He didn't even open the door. Sure you don't want me to stay here in the shop? It's not like we're gonna get any customers. Achi grimaced. Yeah, I guess not. The drawer by the front door held a stack of heavy-duty trash bags. Achi pulled a few of them out. Guess it's gonna be that kind of day. He stuffed the trash bags into his pocket, then slipped on his favorite pair of sneakers. The entryway to Achi's home also led into the family shop. Various pieces of electronics were piled up like so much junk in the tiny retail space. The slightest bump brought the risk of an avalanche. Achi wove his way through the gaps in the appliances like a spelunker exploring a cave. From Shibuya Station, if you make your way past the 109 building, then up through Dogonzaka, you'll come across an old shopping district. Nestled in its outskirts is Endo Electronics, in the same place it's been for decades. Within its dimly lit interior, you'll find rows of wares all caked in dust. At a glance, you might as well just assume the place was closed. A mom-and-pop place like Endo's couldn't compete with the big consumer chains booming throughout Shibuya. So far, the store had remained in business thanks to the locals who appreciated that they had made house calls to do repairs. But things weren't looking good for the future. Achi, the oldest son and nominal successor to the business, had no interest whatsoever in working there. Achi stepped out of the shop and into the sunny morning air. The good weather lifted his spirits. Alrighty, time to do this! He unfurled one of the big garbage bags, which caught the wind and fluttered like a cape. Then he slowly made his way towards Shibuya Station, scanning his surroundings all the while. Sheesh, this place is filthy. He paused to pick up a plastic bottle that had been tossed on the ground. Then, with a heavy sigh, he slipped the crushed receptacle into his trash bag. He'd been picking up trash around town like this for about 6 months now. It had gotten so that the sort of garbage most people would hardly notice stood out to him like a sore thumb. Most days he'd fill his trash bag to the top by the time he'd made it from his house in Dogonzaka to the train station. Station? Did I say that? Today, he was halfway to the station when a woman's anxious voice caught his attention. "I'm sorry. I'm in a bit of a hurry here." He looked up and saw a timid-looking woman being confronted by two men, one with brown hair, one with black. From the look of them, he guessed that the men were scouts for some hostess club. He ran into this sort of thing pretty frequently on his trash-cleaning walks around town. Another kind of trash to take care of. Achi quickly interposed himself between the girl and the two recruiters. "Hey, can't you see that you're bothering her?" "Huh? Who the hell are you?" The two men glared. "Take a hike, pal." Achi stood his ground. "Look, she ain't interested. You're just gonna have to find some other mark." The hustler's annoyance turned to open rage. Well, listen to you. Got a bit of a mouth, huh, buddy?" The brown-haired thug smacked his lips around his chewing gum like a dog worrying a bone. "How about we take this someplace more quiet, yeah?" Someplace more quiet. What this means can depend on the person speaking. To a young woman, let's go someplace more quiet might suggest a cafe or a park, but to a street punk, it might mean an alley where passersby are unlikely to interrupt. The girl stood by uneasily watching the goings-on. "Hey, take it easy. I'm not looking for trouble." That's supposed to be an apology? On your knees and beg, pal. The man spat his gum onto the ground. Achi looked down at the glistening wad of gum on the sidewalk. His last shred of goodwill vanished. "You better pick that up. Right now." "What? Didn't you hear me? As I told you to get down on your knees and... Achi's hand shot out, grabbing the man by the jaw. Whoa, easy, pal." The other man's bravado drained from his face. Achi tightened his grip on the brown-haired hustler's jaw. Sweat dripped from the man's reddening brow. Ugh. The man struggled, but Achi just tightened his grip. Gum's a real pain in the ass to clean up after it's gotten stuck to the street, you know. Ever stop to consider that? "Wait, are you..." The other hustler's panicked eyes had fixed on Achi's chest. Oh, crap. That shirt, man. The guy's voice was starting to break. "That's Mean Clean." Guy with a Mean Clean shirt carrying around a trash bag? That means you're... His face went pale. Mean Clean? The other man echoed the words through his held-shut jaw, tears welling up in his eyes. "Get it right, pal." Achi clenched the man's jaw harder still. "It's Mean Clean." Ow. We're sorry, man. You're Achi, right? Dude, we honestly had no idea. Come on, man. You gotta cut us some slack. The man scrambled to snatch the wad of gum off the street, stuffing it into his pants pocket. Finally, Achi let go of his companion. The brown-haired hustler's face was twisted up with fear. Tears streamed down his cheeks. Gasping out hasty apologies, the two thugs scampered off. Hey, so... A shy smile came to the girl's face. Yoko Kakinuma, a second-year student at Midoriyama Academy's law school. These hustlers managed to corner her while she was on her way to her part-time job at a cafe. It's a popular plot in trashy e-novels for the main character to fall in love with a hustler like these guys, but such things rarely happen in real life. Thank you for saving me. No, I apologize. Huh? The girl stared in surprise. You'll run into creeps like that now and then, but don't hold it against us. Shibuya is a good town. Yeah, okay. Achi gave her a quick wave, then turned and continued on his way down Dogenzaka. Achi was Shibuya born and raised. He was keenly aware of all the changes the ward had seen since he was a kid. Grocers' stalls and inconspicuous little side streets, tiny parks nestled between buildings. Achi knew it all like the back of his hand. Trash, human or otherwise, had no place in this town, not on his watch. Achi made his way down towards Shibuya Station. Throngs of people shuffled to and fro across the Scramble. The view shifted constantly from one moment to the next, almost as if the city itself were alive. And if the city was a living thing, then Shibuya Station was its heart, with streets like Bankamuradori and Sintergai serving as the arteries pumping a bloodstream made of people. Today, as ever, the heart was pumping that blood to every nook and cranny of Shibuya. And there was Achi, just another part of this great urban organism. Guess I'm one of the city's white blood cells. Or, wait, maybe I'm a red blood cell? Hold on. Is that right? Or did I have it right the first time? White blood cells eliminate pathogens from the bloodstream. Red blood cells carry oxygen throughout the body. Can't believe I said shells. Red blood shells at the beach. Achi was probably thinking of white blood cells. Emerging from his reverie, he noticed a rather conspicuous young woman standing by the statue of Hachiko outside Shibuya Station. Oh, she's totally my type. That's not right. Ooh. I can't get this right. Anyway, ooh. She's totally my type. My type. To be up someone's alley. To be someone's cup of tea. Wonder if she's a model or small-time actress or something. Looks like she's waiting for someone. Probably another guy. Good looking as she was, there was no way she wasn't already taken. What kind of guy scored a girl like that? Probably the rich-ass CEO of an IT company or something. Crouching down to tie off the trash bag, he continued gazing wistfully at the girl. Then he noticed something peculiar. She was carrying an attaché case, the kind a businessman might use. It was a large case and apparently so heavy that she was struggling to hold it despite using both hands. We got choices. You've reached a decision point. Let's have Achi not approach Hitomi. So I gotta make a note of this because we need to come back and do the other one later. You've reached a decision point. Let's have Achi not approach Hitomi. Use up and down to select an option, then press X. But first, I gotta dump this trash. He looked around to see if there was a garbage bin nearby. First, I gotta dump this trash. Oh, okay, it's literally just reading it. Okay. Now Achi won't approach Hitomi, which means he will avoid being arrested by Kano. At the same time, Kano's fate will also change. And he will no longer wind up at a bad end. So let's switch back to Kano's story using the time chart. Press triangle to open it. This is the time chart. It shows the protagonist's progression through the story. Decision points are marked with a little branching arrow thingy. Kano's fate has changed based on Achi's actions. Select Kano's 1030 block, then press X. Suppose you could call it that. Kano gave a wry chuckle at his partner's lack of shame. There he is! Kuze's voice chirped suddenly through Kano's earpiece. The man in the black coat! He's not Japanese, looks to be in his early 30s. Previously, Achi got mixed up with Kano and the police, but now another man has appeared instead. By changing what Achi did, you've also changed Kano's story. A foreign man had emerged from the crowd about 15 feet from where Hitomi was standing. He made his way toward her, his expression blank. He didn't match the description Hitomi had given them, but Kano felt a jolt of nerves all the same. Maybe the kidnapper was using an accomplice to snatch the ransom payment. All right. Sasayama raised an eyebrow. This may be our guy. This was it. Kano swallowed the lump in his throat. He bent his knees, ready for action. Blood rushed to his leg muscles, banishing the stiffness that had begun to take hold. Was this the culprit? Or perhaps... The stranger took hold of the attaché case. It was him! En masse, the detectives began to close in. Let's go, Kano. On it. Sasayama and Kano leapt into action, but they never expected what happened next. With the case clutched in both arms, the man veered suddenly, running right toward them. Keep out. Kano's story has suddenly hit a keep out. Keep out refers to a point in the story where your progress is currently stopped. In order to advance beyond a keep out, you need to jump from another protagonist's story. At 10:30, Achi has the text "Young man in a suit" set as red keywords. Checking these red keywords will allow you to jump from Achi's story back to Kano's. Now, head back to Achi's story and keep an eye out for that key phrase. Try following the story from Achi at 10:30. Approach the girl. I wonder if it'll let me pick the other one. Now, what kind of person makes a young lady lug around something heavy like that? Achi figured he'd offer to carry it for her. Oh, it just won't let you. Okay. Huh? A man had come up beside the girl. He was dressed in black, and he wasn't Japanese. It looked like they were having a conversation. The girl nodded tensely at something the man said. Achi stared. Something tells me that's not her boyfriend. The girl handed the attaché case over to the man. He took hold of it with his right hand and began walking briskly away. Whoa! A nearby homeless man suddenly leapt over Achi and broke into a run as if he'd been waiting for this very moment. Homeless man. Yuji Sasayama, a detective with the Shibuya precinct, known as the cosplay detective due to the strange outfits he wears while on stakeouts. He's partnered with Shinya Kano for the kidnapping investigation. Sprinting alongside him was a young man in a suit. Some words in the text appear in red. Red text denotes important keywords that let you jump between different protagonist stories. This allows you to shift between characters at specific points. These can also allow you to clear out a keep out in another character's story and let you read on. If you come across red text, press square to underline it, then press X. A window will appear, allowing you to jump from one protagonist to another at that point. Then, press X to continue the other character's story after the keep out. Give it a try. By performing a jump from this screen, you can advance another protagonist's story past a keep out. Press X to confirm and jump over to Kano's story. Let's do it. Let's go, Kano. On it. Sasayama and Kano leapt into action. You did it! Jump successful. In 428, you will often need to jump to get past another character's keep out. Jump from red keywords to clear a keep out. Keep this in mind as you advance throughout the story. Okay, there won't be any more tutorial messages for a while. If you get stuck somewhere, try changing protagonists or making different decisions to advance. You can now use the time chart and the main menu. From the main menu, you can access gameplay explanations and adjust settings. Press triangle to open the time chart and press the options button to open the main menu. But they never expected what happened next. With the case clutched in both arms, the man suddenly veered, running straight toward them. What? Catching sight of the two detectives, the suspect staggered to a halt and then bolted off in a new direction. Kano whipped off his costume glasses and followed in hot pursuit. At the crosswalk, is that the banana peel? At the crosswalk, the signal changed to red, and the flow of foot traffic abruptly halted. Just as quickly, hundreds of cars all lurched back into motion. There was no escape for the culprit now, or so it appeared. The converging cops slowed their pace, confident their man was cornered. Then the foreigner barreled straight into the intersection, dodging between the oncoming cars without any hesitation. The mob of detectives came to a halt, not eager to rush to their deaths along with him. Kano, however, remained in hot pursuit, charging into the traffic at the crossing. Kano, are you crazy? Come back! Kano heard Sasayama shouting, but his feet kept carrying him onward. With shouts and sirens echoing all around him, Kano closed in on the foreigner. Just a little closer, and he'd be in tackling range. He leaned forward, preparing to pounce, his eyes fixed on the culprit's feet. It was now or never. Kano, back off! Don't take him down! It was Kuze shouting through Kano's earpiece. Huh? Kano hesitated in surprise. Had he really just been ordered not to apprehend the criminal? Let him go for now. The real perp is somewhere else. Real perp. Perp is police jargon for perpetrator. Here, Kuze is referring to the fact that the principal offender is in this case must be elsewhere. What had happened to the plan? He'd been told that all personnel were to secure the area ASAP. Didn't HQ want them to catch the perpetrator? Arrest team, stay on the foreigner's tail. Arrest team. Police team dedicated exclusively to the task of apprehending the criminal. While a kidnapping case is in progress, the roles of the officers involved are carefully designated. God, I'm having trouble reading right now. Carefully designated so that every officer is ready to take immediate action as the situation develops. Typically, tried and true veteran MPD officers are put in charge of teams for breaking into buildings or apprehending the suspect. Forensics team, get busy cross-referencing photos. Team deployed by the MPD to handle the actual tests and techniques of on-scene investigations, such as collecting and comparing fingerprints and analyzing photos of suspects. Even if this foreigner was only an underling hired for this one task, the police had now tipped their hand that they'd been lying in wait. If they didn't lock things down now and get more info on the kidnapper, a girl's life might be at stake. Kano recalled another maxim from his Dick diary. Dick dictum number 12. Always assume a worst-case scenario. If Kuze had told him to let this guy go, that implied that he was counting on the team that was now in position. But if the crook had planned a way to break through the police dragnet and escape with the ransom, and he succeeded, what was the right call here? Should he take this guy down or back off after all? Letting the perp escape now is too big of a risk. He had to catch this guy ASAP. The man darted down a narrow alleyway. Kano ran faster. The man sprinted through the side streets. Evidently, he knew his way around Shibuya pretty well. Beep! Someone's taken Hitomi! Kano recognized Kuze's trademark squawk immediately. Subject is male. He appears to be carrying a gun. He's fleeing in the direction of Meiji Dori. What? Kano could hardly believe it. Hitomi had been kidnapped? Had she been abducted by whoever had taken Maria? But why? Someone must have been waiting for the moment when the police took their eyes off her. Something's very wrong here. What in the world is going on? Kano saw that the road forked up ahead. The man with the attaché case ran to the left. If the man who'd taken Hitomi was heading toward Meiji-dori, there was a good chance he'd gone down one of the alleyways off to the right. Making a snap judgment, Kano told the detective behind him to follow the case snatcher, then turned and headed down the nearest alley. After darting through the side streets, he spotted a different man, another foreigner, crossing an intersection a few dozen meters ahead. The man was dressed in black, just like the guy who'd grabbed the ransom money. Kusei's right. Kidnapper wasn't acting alone. But wait, something was amiss. Hitomi isn't with him. Where was she? Kano skidded around the corner, then stopped short. The man in black was standing there, pointing a gun right at him. Before Kano could react, the man fired. Kano felt hot all over, as if he were on fire. All except for his cheek, pressed against the asphalt, and the palms of his hands. They felt so cold. There was nothing he could do. Nothing, that is, except lie there and watch as his killer turned and walked away. Bad end number 4. Got by a 4. By trying to find the man who'd taken Hitomi, Kano ran into a different criminal, and unfortunately for him, he got shot. If the criminal hadn't been able to get near Hitomi, she probably wouldn't have been taken. Have Achi make the choice to talk to Hitomi instead at 10:35. Alright. So, we're gonna do that, but hang on. I want to see what happens with Achi when on this other end of this branch so that I don't forget. Wait, hang on. This is not the right one, I don't think. Yeah, it's Achi I need to change. That's right. Okay, so Achi is going to approach the girl, and we're going to see, I believe, the bad end 1, but from his perspective. So, now what kind of a person makes a young lady lug around something heavy like that? Achi figured he'd offer to carry it for her. The girl kept shifting her grip. It was clearly a strain for her to keep holding the case, but she didn't set it down. Whatever was inside, it had to be something pretty important. Achi made his way over to her, bristling inwardly at whoever had left her waiting like this. If I were you, I'd bust the head of the punk that's kept you waiting. Huh? That thing looks heavy. Let me carry it for you. The girl stared back at Achi with wide eyes, but said nothing. Really, I'm happy to help. I'm not gonna steal it or anything. His tone was hurried, and he impulsively reached for the attaché case. An instant later, a group of men descended on him from all sides. Whoa! Hey! What the hell? For an instant, Achi froze, unable to process just what was happening. He tried to run, but the men shoved him unceremoniously to the ground and held him there. They were shouting about something or other, but he couldn't make out their words. The more he tried to struggle, the harder they held him down. What the hell is this? You can tell us that down at the precinct. A man in a suit knelt alongside him, flashing a police badge. Identifies the bearer as a member of Japanese law enforcement. The old-style badge case included a small notebook for the bearer to write in, but the modern version is modeled after that used by the FBI, where the badge case contains only the badge itself. What? You're arresting me? What the heck did I even do? Instead of answering, they shoved Achi into the back seat of a patrol car. He gazed dejectedly out the window. He could still see the girl. She didn't have the case anymore. Now she was talking to a man with a cane. Was this the person she'd been waiting for? A moment later, A moment later, the car turned the corner, and the two of them slipped out of view. Achi slumped back in the seat, sulking and silent. Several hours passed. After a bunch of pointless questioning, the police finally determined he was innocent, and his father came to pick him up. For a long while, Achi just stared intently out the window of the car. Finally, his father caught his attention. The old man seemed to be in a surprisingly good mood, despite having to collect his son from the jailhouse. Achi, there's something I want to talk to you about. If it's about me taking over the shop, now's not the time, okay? No, it's not that. Look, let's just get home first. Sure, don't feel like going out today anyway. But now I'm curious. What do you want to talk about? I got some good news. I think you'll be pleased. I'm not sure I like the sound of that. Please don't tell me you're getting remarried or something. Dad? I really don't like the sound of that. And so began a very long conversation. Bad end. Number 5. Arrested. Achi was just trying to be nice, but when he tried to take the attaché case, he walked right into the middle of a police stakeout. His heart was in the right place, but the timing was a bit off. Maybe he should have finished dealing with the garbage first and watched how the situation played out. Go back to Achi's 10:30 and try making a different decision. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna continue. We're gonna go back and then we're gonna continue Achi's story for a little bit. I think that'd be fun. So, okay, we've mopped that one up. Don't have to worry about it. Actually, I think let's jump back to Kano because it's pretty simple here that we just pick the other one. Also, I'm curious. I want to pick the other one here. So let's see. I think nothing changes in this scene. This is just like a couple lines, but the situation still wasn't entirely clear. He needed to get a better look at things. The newcomer held a bundle of letter-sized paper which he showed to Hitomi as he went on talking. He tried to hand her one of the papers, but she pointedly ignored him. Undeterred, the man kept trying to foist it off on her. Hitomi refused to respond, becoming as motionless as the statue of Hachiko behind her, until finally the man gave up and walked away. Guess it wasn't him. Kano felt the tension of the moment linger in his spine. I must have been hitting on her, Sasayama muttered. I mean, she is pretty cute and all. Okay, so I think we've, that's all we need there. And then here's where things change. Okay. So let's see where this leads. Let the other officers chase after the guy. Kano had his own job to do. Kuze's instructions had been clear. Let the other officers chase after the guy. Kano had his own job to do. He broke off his pursuit, pointing the next wave of detectives in the direction the foreigner had fled. Kano had almost gotten close enough to get a good look at the guy's face, but if Kuze had ordered him to let the guy go, well, his boss should know what he was doing. Herb was someone else's problem now. He had just ceased his pursuit when Kuze's panicked voice sounded shrill in his ear. Someone's taken Hitomi! Kano recognized Kuze's trademark squawking immediately. Subject is male. He appears to be carrying a gun. He's fleeing in the direction of Meiji Dori. What? Kano could hardly believe it. Hitomi had been kidnapped? Had she been abducted by whoever had taken Maria? But why? Someone must have been waiting for the moment when the police took their eyes off her. Something's very wrong here. What in the world is going on? Kano hurried to search for the man who'd taken Hitomi. If he was heading toward Meiji Dori, there was a good chance he'd gone down one of the alleyways nearby. After darting through the side streets, he spotted a different man, another foreigner, crossing an intersection a few dozen meters ahead. The man was dressed in black, just like the guy who'd grabbed the ransom money. Kuze's right, the kidnapper wasn't acting alone. But wait, something was amiss. Hitomi isn't with him. Where was she? Kano skidded around the corner, then stopped short. The man in black was standing there, pointing a gun right at him. Before Kano could react, the man fired. This feels exactly the same. Am I crazy? Did I not pick the right one? Did I actually just pick the wrong one? That's wild, if so. Kano felt hot all over, as if he were on fire. All except for his cheek pressed against the asphalt in the palm of his hands. They felt so cold. There was nothing he could do. Nothing, that is, except lie there and watch as his killer turned and walked away. Okay, so is this the same one? Criminal hadn't been able to get near it. Achi needs to talk to Hitomi at 10:35. Okay. So, okay. Yeah, it told me explicitly, and I just went through it again. But, okay, so both of these branches end up in the same place. Achi has to do something so that Kano can progress. Okay. Whoa. Then, seemingly from everywhere, a whole bunch of other guys burst into motion. First one, then another, third, a fourth, fifth? Over a dozen now. What the heck? Clearly something big was going down. Were they after the attaché case? Within moments, Achi lost sight of them all through the crowd. With that many people chasing him, the guy with the case was sure to get caught. But wait, what about that girl? She turned back around. The girl was still there. She was staring in the direction that the man who'd taken the case had gone, a worried expression on her face. Okay, so first we'll just see what happens with this, because obviously this is not the one we're supposed to take. This is not the branch we're supposed to take, so. Another crazy day in Shibuya. They had to be shooting a scene for a film on location. It would probably be a mistake to intrude. Yeah, this song is such a jam. I bet that's what this is. Some TV show about a kidnapping and the girl has to make the ransom handoff. And there's probably some actor lurking around here playing this suave, handsome detective. Achi gave a chuckle and turned away. A soothing breeze blew by as wispy clouds drifted overhead. He picked a nice day for a shoot. Smiling inwardly, he resumed his trash-picking mission, wondering what other surprises the day would hold. A few moments later, he heard a loud bang, and the Scramble went into an uproar. Huh. Someone blow a tire? People were running from all directions to see what had made the sound. Oh, maybe they're shooting an action scene now. Achi was a tad bit curious, but he strolled away from the Scramble without looking back. Maybe he'd head out to Yotsuya today to stretch his legs a bit. A neighborhood of the Shinjuku ward in the southeastern part of Tokyo, located approximately 4 kilometers northeast of Shibuya Station. While the numbers 428 in Japanese can be pronounced the same as the syllables for the name Shibuya, they can also be pronounced like the syllables for Yotsuya. Additionally, April 28th is both Shibuya Day and Yotsuya Day, along with Seniors Day. It was best not to get distracted. There was trash that needed collecting. Bad end number 7. Your future is garbage. A great name. Achi decided to go on collecting trash because he decided the commotion in the Scramble was probably just a TV shoot in progress. He'll probably have a pretty uneventful day, which is all well and good for him, but the girl was actually in danger, as he'd have discovered if he had just investigated further. He missed his chance to help her out. Go back and try making a different choice. I love that name. I can't get over it. Your future is garbage. Achi couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. Maybe he should talk to her and ask her what was going on. But just as he was making up his mind, a middle-aged man in a ratty business suit shuffled awkwardly over to her first. Was there something wrong with one of his legs? He was using a cane to walk. Then one of his hands slipped into his jacket pocket. Achi could scarcely believe his eyes. A revolver? Colt Detective Special, a .38 caliber revolver introduced in 1927 by Colt's Manufacturing Company, a classic example of a snub-nosed revolver. As the name implies, the weapon is frequently carried by detectives, narcotics officers, and the like for self-defense. Suddenly, a young man came running through the crowd. Seeing him, the man with the cane turned on his heel and vanished in the Scramble. Something big was going down. What is all this? The young man was closing in on the girl, his expression grim. That guy's up to no good. Achi sprang into motion. Hiya! Leaping high, Achi delivered a flying kick right between the man's shoulder blades. The guy went down, but recovered surprisingly fast, spinning back to his feet to grapple with Achi. The hell is your problem? The hell is your problem, man? Achi snapped. The two stood staring each other down as the crowd swirled around them. Let go of me! You let go of me first. After you let go of me, sure. You first, pal. Don't you call me pal, man. Hey, don't call me man, pal. Neither man was willing to yield. The crowd had parted to avoid the scuffle. Passers-by were staring from all sides. Well, crap. Achi got a sudden sinking feeling. What the hell am I even doing? Jumped in over my head as usual. His anger melted away. He loosened his grip. Without further argument, the other man let go of Achi's jacket. Turning quickly away, the stranger hurried over to the statue of Hachiko, where he dropped to his knees, dejected. The girl who'd been standing there was nowhere to be seen. Maybe this was the guy she'd been waiting on? The guy was clearly upset that she was missing. Achi actually felt kind of bad for him. He decided that it would be wise to leave while the guy's attention was elsewhere. Oof. He hurried back along the road to his house. The wind had gone out of his sails, and he didn't feel much like cleaning up trash anymore. Ah well, guess I'll read some manga and go to bed. Better play it safe before the day got any worse. Bad end numero 6. Tussle with a stranger. Achi's interference with the young man, it was Kano, disrupted the detective's sting. If Achi hadn't acted on impulse when he saw Kano heading for Hitomi, things might have gone differently, but how can you make sure Kano doesn't return to the Scramble and startle Achi? The key lies further along in Kano's story. So, I wonder if both of these branches are different now. Let's first try A. We'll skip through all the stuff that's the same. He noticed two people over by a trash pile. At first, they appeared to be a young couple. Then, looking more closely, he realized that the girl was Hitomi. Mr. Kuze, I've located Hitomi Osawa. The couple took off running, the rough-looking guy dragging Hitomi by the hand. She's with a man in his 20s. It looks like she's being led away against her will. Clarify, please, Kuze demanded. What's going on? Not sure. Was this guy a member of some criminal group? It looked like the two were running away from something. All right, we'll handle the foreigner. You go after Hitomi. Got it. Kano sprang into action. Stop right there! The young man glanced back at Kano, but rather than stopping, he picked up speed, continuing to drag Hitomi along with him. She didn't seem quite able to keep up. Kano knew he could catch them. He tried to close the distance in a sprint. After a short distance, the young man stopped, realizing he couldn't outrun his pursuer. Shielding Hitomi behind him, he glowered at Kano. Why did you run off? Kano demanded. Because you were chasing us. A blatant lie. People didn't just bolt like that without good reason. The young tough started edging away, keeping Hitomi behind him. Kano followed. Look, just let the girl go. The guy glanced back at Hitomi. She shook her head fearfully. Maybe this troublemaker had warned her to keep her mouth shut. You've got this, Kano. Just don't let them out of your sight. A sudden blow to the top of his head left him staggering. His eyes spun as he reeled with vertigo. There was a flapping sound, and a vague black shape wheeled above him. Was that a crow? It was the last thing Kano ever saw before his vision went dark. Ever saw. I don't know where that ever came from. Bad end. What are we on now? Number 3. Was that a crow? We're filling them out. In the midst of chasing the man who snatched the attaché case, Kano happened across Hitomi and Achi. While confronting them, he suffered a blow to the head and was knocked out cold, but Achi only came this way because he thought it was the quickest way to escape with Hitomi. If he'd gone for the police box instead, things might have gone differently. The key is what Achi does at 10:35. Okay, well, really quick, we've got to see what happens on the other path. So let's take a look. I wonder if it just sends us the same thing. Let's see. Kano headed back to the Scramble and took up his post again. Hitomi was still standing at the handoff point, staring worriedly in the direction that the suspect had fled. No doubt she was wondering why, all of a sudden, the police had decided to let the guy go. Kano jogged over to Hitomi, but before he could reassure her, Hiya! A sudden blow from behind sent him sprawling to the ground. Kano's mind flooded with rage as he scrabbled back to his feet. What the hell? He spun around to find himself grappling with a belligerent young man. The hell is your problem? Kano snapped. The hell is your problem? The stranger shot back. Let go of me. You let go of me first. After you let go of me, sure. You first, pal. Don't you call me pal, man. Don't call me man, pal. The crowd had begun to stare. Not good. Here he was causing a scene in public, blowing his cover in the middle of an important case. This was neither the time nor place for some dumb, random quarrel. Even as he came to his senses, Kano felt the strength ebb from the stranger's grip. He pushed the man away and quickly turned back towards Hitomi. She was gone. He scanned the area for any sign of her, but she had vanished without a trace. Kuze's mobile command center had also disappeared. What did I miss? The blood drained from Kano's face. The investigation had left him utterly behind. There wasn't even any signal on his radio. They must have switched frequencies while he was caught up in the tussle. Kano turned back to confront the troublemaker. He was gone too. Kano spun on his heel, searching, but the young man was nowhere in sight. The attaché case, Hitomi, the troublemaker, he'd lost all three. Right out of the starting gate, he'd bungled the entire operation. He should have left Tatno to look after Hitomi and gone after the attaché case himself. What the hell was he doing? Kano felt his self-confidence ebbing away like water. Maybe it's time to move back to the sticks. Maybe Tokyo's too fast-paced for a screw-up like me. He had no idea what to do next, and so he just stood there, frozen, already drafting his letter of resignation in his head. Lost sight of the kidnapper, number 2. Thus far, we've gotten all the bad ends we know about, so... Kano lost sight of Hitomi because of his scuffle with Achi Endo. If he had chased after the thief who took the attaché case, this probably wouldn't have happened. Go back to Kano's 10:30 timestamp, try making a different choice. Alright. Let's change this over. Okay, there we go. And then... With a single fluid motion, the man lifted up the gun and pointed it in the girl's direction. He was aiming right for her head. Huh? The girl had noticed the man with the cane now. Seeing the gun pointed right at her, she froze in fear. Achi didn't hesitate. Breaking into a full run, he tackled the gunman with all of his might. Caught off guard, the man sprawled to the pavement. But the would-be assassin kept hold of this weapon and quickly scrabbled back to his feet. Achi knew he had to act fast. He grabbed the ashen-faced girl by the arm and attempted to drag her away. "This way!" he shouted. She just stared at him, uncomprehending, trembling like a startled animal. "Come on, run!" Finally, the girl snapped out of her daze and gave a fearful nod. "Let's just get out of here!" The would-be assassin was getting back to his feet. Achi grabbed the girl by the hand. "Run!" Without so much as a backward glance, he led her beneath the railway overpass for the Yamanote line. They needed to get as far away as possible, fast. Their best bet was to head toward the east side of the station. It was less crowded there. It would be easier to run. "Don't worry, you can trust me." Dragging the hesitant girl behind him, he took off through the crowd. Suddenly it dawned on him that he still held the trash bag in his other hand. "You know, this thing's gotta be a real pain in my ass." Achi paused just long enough to toss the trash into a garbage bin as they passed by a park, then took off again. Someone shouted from behind, "Stop right there!" Achi turned back in alarm to see a stranger charging after them. It was one of the guys from the crowd who had run after the attaché case snatcher. "You gotta be kidding me! Now he's chasing us?" Whoever he was young and fit and gaining fast. Realizing the girl could never outrun this guy, Achi stopped abruptly. Shielding her behind him, he turned to face the stranger. "Why did you run off?" "Because you were chasing us." The other fellow eyed Achi skeptically. Maybe he was a buddy of the man with the cane. Keeping his guard up, Achi began to back away. Look, just let the girl go. The guy was acting like he knew her. Achi glanced back, but the girl only shook her head, wide-eyed. The other man's posture shifted, preparing to lunge, but as Achi braced himself for a scuffle, something came crashing down upon the stranger's head. Ah! His eyes wobbled and spun in their sockets, and he collapsed in a heap on the ground. And there, standing behind him, was the girl he'd helped out earlier, the one he'd saved from the hustlers. Hey, you're that girl from this morning. Are you okay? Next to the fallen pursuer's form was a rather thick book. She nodded towards it. He looked dangerous, so I just threw that at him. Oh, yeah, thank you. This saves my bacon big time. It's the least I could do after the way you helped me earlier. Sure thing. You should probably get out of here before that guy comes too. Like you said, he's probably dangerous. Right. Achi scooped up the heavy book and handed it to the girl, who promptly left the scene. Now we better get out of here, the girl nodded. They started down the street, only to see the man with the cane round the corner a few dozen meters ahead. This is not good. The assassin had spotted them, and he hurried in their direction. This way. Achi led the girl into a nearby alleyway. But this way's a dead end, the girl said, breathlessly. Like I said, just trust me. Stopping abruptly, Achi kicked down a wooden plank covering a gap between two buildings, clearing a space that a person could fit through. See? We can get away through here. In you go! But the girl just stood there, looking terrified. What's the matter? Achi asked. Come on, we gotta hurry. But I... He looked at him as if he, too, was about to pull a gun on her. He could hardly blame her. After all, he was just some random guy who had turned up out of nowhere. But this was no time for dawdling. The man with the cane appeared at the end of the alley. If they just stood there, he was going to catch them. He was going to catch them. Okay, sweetheart, hear me out, he said in a rush. Name's Achi Endo. I live in the neighborhood, and I'm not the kind to stand idly by when some girl is being chased by some killer. So please, just trust me, and I'll do my best to keep you safe. He hoped the look in his eyes would convince her that he was being on the level. After a painfully long moment, the girl nodded her acceptance. Right. Let's start with this. They had paused beside an enormous stack of beverage crates. With a quick shove, Achi knocked the whole pile down, sending it cascading across their pursuer's path. Now that was a close call. The man with the cane was floundering, struggling to get past the fallen crates. My bad, man, Achi called out. Mind cleaning that up for me? The man scowled back at them and fumbled for his gun. Achi flashed him a wave goodbye and then slipped away between the buildings with the girl. Log lady, I love it. Hurrying down a narrow alley, they emerged onto a side street lined with dive bars and clubs. Assuming the man with the cane hadn't given up, he would probably lie in wait on the path back to the main road. Achi decided their best bet was to try to stay inconspicuous rather than risk getting caught on the move. Guess we can lie low here for a bit, he said. He led the girl to the entrance of a tiny old hostess club. She followed him reluctantly. Achi flicked the switch inside the front door and a chintzy chandelier glowed to life. He sat the girl down on the small sofa beside the counter. She gave him a worried look. Achi felt a pang of embarrassment as he realized what she must be thinking. Oh, no, don't get the wrong idea. I'm not going to try any funny business. Someone I know used to run this place. It's not in business anymore, so I figure we're safe here. The girl chuckled at his evident discomfort. All right then, she said. So, we good? We're good. Okay, well, good. Achi made a vague attempt to straighten his disheveled clothes. So, how about some introductions? I'm Achi Endo, like I said earlier. You can just call me Achi. I'm Hitomi Osawa. You can call me Hitomi, I guess. With each new word out of Hitomi's mouth, Achi felt his heart sing. She was charming, personable. Just about everything about her was captivating. Achi had never met another girl like her. Achi? What? Something the matter? You were spacing out there for a bit. Achi shook his head to dispel his daze. Damn it, this is no time to get all starry-eyed. He needed to think of some way to keep her safe from the guy who was after her. Look, can you tell me what the heck is going on? Please, I need to know if I'm going to help you. Right. Okay. I'm not really sure where to begin. Hitomi looked down, lost in thought. Apparently hers was a long story. All right, she said at last. I guess I'll just explain things as they happened. Wait, hold up. Could you keep it as simple as you can? I mean, I'm not really the sharpest tool in the shed. Complicated explanations ain't exactly my strong suit. Okay, Hitomi chuckled. I'll try my best. She got comfortable and then started her story. So, last night, somebody abducted my sister. The kidnapper demanded that I make the ransom handoff personally. He told me to stand by the statue of Hachiko in Shibuya at 10 o'clock in the morning to make the exchange. So I did. Wait. Oh, for effect it did that. Okay, wait. And this man came by and took the attaché case with the money, and then afterwards that other guy with the cane turned up and pointed his gun at me and... Whoa! I'm sorry, hold up a sec. Achi had suddenly lost the thread of the conversation. Times like this, you can press up to go back. That's funny. That's a cool way to teach you how to do that. You can press up to go back and reread what you've already seen. You can also press down to quickly scroll back through sections you've already read. A mark will appear in the upper left corner of the screen when you're paging back and forth like this. You can press the X to reread the marked page. Could you say that again, but, like, simpler? Huh? Sure. I'm just having trouble following is all. I mean, is this the plot to some movie or soap opera? No, that's not... Or some kind of hidden camera show? This is real. This really happened. The look in Hitomi's eyes was dead serious. She's gotta be telling the truth. What would be the point of lying? And he had seen the attaché case and the gunman himself. How much was the ransom, if you don't mind my asking? Hitomi hesitated. 50 million yen, she said after a moment. She gave a whistle of amazement. The detectives told me that this was a typical amount for a kidnapper to ask for. It's plenty, that's for sure. I guess there's good money in that sort of thing. As soon as the words were out, he realized his blunder. Sorry, I shouldn't have put it that way. He fidgeted awkwardly and Hitomi looked away. I'm an idiot, but... Okay, I think I get this kidnapping thing. So, I'm guessing those guys who chased the guy who took the ransom were undercover cops? He replayed the scene in his head. But then... The kidnapper took the attaché case and ran, right? So if you were empty-handed, why'd that guy with the cane come after you? I'm honestly not sure. Hitomi's words trailed off. This was clearly difficult for her to talk about. Anyway, we should probably get you to the police as soon as we... No, we can't do that. Tomi's tone was resolute. I can't take this to the police. Why not? Achi waited for an answer, but none came. After a long and awkward silence, she stood up from her seat. I really appreciate the help, but I should go now. She gave Achi a deep bow. Nuh-uh, hold on. What do you mean go? Go where? He hurried to intervene as she headed for the door. I don't want to cause you any more trouble. I'll figure the rest out on my own, somehow. Hey, I said hold on! Hitomi ignored him and opened the door, and their argument came to an abrupt halt. Standing there was the man with the cane, his revolver in his hand. To be continued. I think we got one more branch we gotta try, right? We gotta get Kano to the to be continued. Achi Endo's 10 o'clock story ends here. However, Kano's story is still stuck at a bad end. This is due to one of Achi's decisions. Go back to Achi's decision point at 10:35 and change the choice he makes in order to change Kano's fate. This way, Achi's choice can help someone else, while his own story remains resolved. The key to getting all the characters through to the end is to go back and change choices for characters that have already made it through the current hour of their story. Alright, police box time. And, yeah. The police box, let's go! Still pulling the girl by the hand, Achi headed for the police box outside the train station. But it was empty. There were always policemen staffing these things. Why did it have to be unmanned now? Achi flashed a worried glance behind him and saw the assassin in pursuit like a man possessed. Yikes, this is not good. There was nothing they could do but run. With the frightened girl in tow, Achi ran below the JR Yamanote Line railway overpass. A railway loop line that services the Tokyo metropolis. Typically, the morning rush is quite intense, with the stretch from Ueno Station to Okachimachi Station sometimes crowded as high as 216% capacity, roughly 300 people riding in a space designed for 143 passengers, unrelated to the Yamate Line subway that operates in the city of Kobe. Don't worry, just trust me, he told her. But first... They sped past a convenience store where an employee was cleaning up the sidewalk. Here, take this, will ya? Achi tossed over the bag of trash. Huh? Wait, what? This way. They slipped through the crowd and into a nearby back alley. But this way's a dead end, the girl said breathlessly. Like I said, just trust me. Stopping abruptly, Achi kicked down a wooden plank covering a gap between two buildings, clearing a space that a person could fit through. See? We can get away through here. In you go! Okay, I think this is going to be roughly the same. Let's see. I need to see. Yeah, this is going to lead the same place. Okay. So let's see what Kano's perspective is on this. And then I think we'll be wrapping it up after this. The man darted down a narrow alleyway. Kano ran faster. The man sprinted through the side streets. Evidently, he knew his way around Shibuya pretty well. The man shot out onto a major thoroughfare and then bolted up a pedestrian bridge. Just where the heck was this guy heading? Halfway across the bridge, the man stopped abruptly. Cautious, Kano stopped as well. Height, roughly 190 centimeters, age 30s, hair dark brown, clothing all black. A moment later, the man flashed a triumphant sneer and he held up the attaché case. Before Kano could even yell stop, it was already too late. The man threw the attaché case down to the roadway below. No! Panicking, Kano peered over the railing. A man on a motorcycle was waiting beneath the bridge. Been had. Kano bit his lip hard. Damn it! Kano sprinted back down the bridge, hearing the bike's engine roar to life. He had to make it in time. Descending the stairs 4 at a time, he leapt toward the roadway, but the bike sped out of reach and roared away in the direction of Yoyogi, leaving Kano in its dust. Looking back up at the overpass, he saw the man who had thrown the attaché case running away. He handed the money off to someone else. He's currently on a motorcycle heading toward Yoyogi. His report to Kaze complete, Kano slumped down in dismay. The cops had played right into the criminal's hands. Now the crooks were getting away, and people's lives were in danger. Was there any greater failure for a policeman? Staring off into the distance where the man who'd thrown the case had disappeared, Kano gritted his teeth. To be continued. Okay, I think that finishes this block. It was nice and short. You finished reading both characters' stories for the hour of 10 o'clock. In 428, you'll make your way through all the protagonist stories in parallel like this. Once everyone has reached the end of a given hour, the next hour can begin. I am so excited. I've played through the next hour before, and it is awesome. All of it is awesome. I can't wait. Oh my gosh. Let me just check really quick. Okay. This is the end of the tutorial for this part of the story. You can reread previous tutorial messages via the main menu. There's a lot of important info in there, so reread it closely. Now, 428 has reached the 11 o'clock time block. You have 5 protagonists available. Whose story will you read first? Well, fortunately, it's going to be none of them because I've got to go. But this has been a pretty awesome, productive episode. We have made it through and finished the first block of this story. And it has been a blast. It's been so good playing this for you. My name is Okomot. I can't wait to get back to this. The only reason I'm stopping is because I have some stuff I got to do, but that's okay. Over here, you got all my socials, my Bandcamp where I put music, Blue Sky, Threads, and X where I kind of post about what's coming up, so you can kind of keep an eye on those. There is PayPal where you can send me a couple bucks. I love money. It's my favorite. And then, of course, we've got Twitch, where I stream these live, and YouTube, where I put the VODs afterwards, so you can watch the previous editions of this. I got a playthrough of Outer Wilds and Disco Elysium going. Outer Wilds is pretty much complete at this point. I'm now doing the DLC. That's been a blast. Yeah, just come check it out. Check out what's happening. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next episode of 428. Okomot out. Thanks for tuning in.